Hello everybody and welcome to the monthly stats video for August. I think August is going to be pretty bad like July was. We've not had an awful lot of sunshine, but we'll find out a bit about that in the results in a moment. I just wanted to also mention that this month's results will be the last month where I'll be on the Octopus Go tariff. After this, for September onwards, I will be on the Intelligent Octopus tariff. A lot of people have been switching over to it. I've been looking at it and trying to decide whether it's been worth doing it or not. I had a lot of trouble trying to understand just exactly how it's that much different from Octopus Go, really. You seem to get a longer cheap rate period at the same price, but you get an extra 2 hours worth compared with Octopus Go. It's just that when you go to charge your vehicle, they decide when to charge it, but in theory there's nothing to stop you just charging your vehicle just during that cheap rate period whenever you feel like it anyway, because it says you can use that for other things too. So I'm not quite sure exactly how it was different, so I spent a lot of time talking to Octopus on Twitter and various other ways, trying to make absolutely sure that my understanding was correct, and it seems as though it was, so I decided to take the plunge. And what I've found out is that yeah, when you plug your car in, they take control of my Tesla in this case, and they'll stop it charging when it's not one of their periods, but I can still charge my Leaf during the normal off-rate period. But obviously I charge my car using my spare solar in the summertime, so it's no good if the car keeps shutting itself off during the daytime when I'm just trying to dump my spare solar into it. So I have had to upgrade my Monocle software to handle this entirely new scenario of being able to talk to my car and talk to my charger, as well as query the Intelligent Octopus API to find out when the cheap periods are, or when the charge periods are, and all that sort of thing. So I've been spending quite a lot of nights over the last week or so upgrading all my software, and I think I've even managed to get it to work so that if they do a charging period that's outside of the normal cheap rate, so say they do one at sort of 8 till 9 in the morning, my software will detect that that's happening, and also that the car is actually charging, because as I understand it, while the car is actually charging in that half-hour block, all your electricity goes down to the cheap rate while the car's taking a charge. So as long as my car's charging, I can also charge my house batteries, charge the other car, etc. at the cheap rate, even though it's outside of the, off-peak period. So my software should handle all of that now as well, and detect that situation is there, and can potentially set off a load of other things happening when it detects that situation is going on. So I think that could maybe be quite useful for me, particularly through the winter months, when we're not going to get that much solar, and potentially if I was doing something and used a lot of the batteries up and I wanted to pep them back up again part way through the day and there happened to be a cheap rate period or something, then while the car was charging, I could also charge the house batteries or something as well. So yeah, like I say, hopefully I can detect that situation, and I'm also going to upgrade my graphs so that I can hopefully show in the pie chart the difference between cheap electric that was during the off-peak time and cheap electric that was during the peak time, just so we can see how much I managed to actually utilise when those very specific situations occur. But it's probably not going to be that much, but it was an interesting challenge trying to get it all working in the software. So I think, like I say, I've done it. I still need to do some more tests, but at the moment it's here in early September, we're getting quite a lot of sunshine again now, so I haven't really had to charge the car from the grid. So until this sunny spell disappears, I probably won't get a lot of chance to really test it out, but I'll keep you informed of how well it does, hopefully in the next video, monthly stats video, and almost certainly the one after that, when we really will start to use the grid a lot more. But okay, so let's get onto the stats for August. We generated 886 kilowatt hours in August, which is about the same as we generated in July, and that's not surprising. They were both pretty similar months, not an awful lot of sunshine compared with previous years, and certainly compared to the June we had. We imported a total of 351 kilowatt hours, and we exported 98 kilowatt hours. So let's have a look at the financials. We used a total of 1,139 kilowatt hours in August, and the cost of that electricity, if we didn't have any solar or batteries, and we're on the standard Octopus electricity tariff, that would have cost us £435.65. Having solar has saved us £328.49, and that's just the cost of what the cost of all the electricity that we've got for free would have cost. And using the cheap night rate that's available on the Go tariff has saved us about £90 compared with buying the same amount of electricity in the daytime. So that's predominantly for charging the cars at this time of year. We haven't really had to charge the batteries in the summer months. The FIT export for August has earned us £133.26, which means that the total cost to us for 1,139 kilowatt hours was £53.94. That's off my bill. £13.37 of that is the standing charge, which means that the average price we paid per kilowatt hour in August was just 3.56p. So that's a little bit worse than July, but it's still a good price. So as I said, my electricity bill was £53.94, and our FIT feed-in payment was £133.26. So our energy cost for the month was again zero, and in fact we made a profit of just short of £80. Now let's have a look at the pie charts. Here is the chart that shows how much of the power that we generated we managed to keep and how much we had to export, and you can see that we managed to keep 89% of it, which is 788 kilowatt hours, and we exported just 11%. And that's still too high, really. That should be about 5%. There were some problems with my software. I kept saying about it, but I finally have fixed them now. So I'm hoping that next month that will improve, and we get back to being close to 5% again. But obviously we're now moving on to the Intelligent Octopus tab. So I've just done a whole load of new software updates, and there's almost certainly going to be some bugs in there. So it could cause my first month to be a bit off target, but maybe I shouldn't be so hard on myself. I think I've coded it pretty well. I think it'll be fine. If we have a quick comparison of that to the month before, July, you can see that we've done a lot better than July. But in July we went on a holiday for a week, so I think that's what skewed it a lot in July. Otherwise it probably would have been something similar. But obviously if there's no one here, we can't really use the power for anything. The next pie chart is breakdown of generated power by inverter, and yeah, you can see that 60% comes from my main inverter, my 5 kilowatt inverter, and you know, it's very similar to the usual. If we look at this compared with July, you can see that now the wall mounted panels are making up a bigger proportion. That's the yellow chunk, and that's because the sun is obviously starting to come down a bit now, so it's striking those panels at a better angle, so they generate a little bit more, which is exactly why I wanted some vertical ones, because it just helps me out more in the winter. But yeah, this sort of time of year is usually when I get my best generation, because my roof and wall panels are both really at their combined optimum. Now look at the pie chart for the energy mix, and we can see that most of the energy was free, came from my solar panels, 788 kilowatt hours, and apart from that, the rest of it was the cheap off-grid rate from Octopus Go, and that was mostly going to be just charging the vehicles. We don't charge the house batteries at this time of year, there's no need. Although I do think I had to charge the shed batteries one night for a couple of hours, because they got so very low, and because there's only a 1 kilowatt array attached to the shed batteries, it just wasn't enough to replace it. So I think I did have to charge it to stop them going too low and potentially damaging the cells. So, but that's tantamount to the fact that August has been such a dreadful month for sunshine. And then the last little bit was just the expensive part, and that's the sort of little bit that I can't do an awful lot about. It's caused by this sort of bleed effect that I mentioned in a video that I'll leave a link to at the end. But it was because of this small amount that I use every month. It's just over, or it's about a kilowatt hour a day that I can't seem to do anything about, that I thought that the Intelligent Octopus tariff might work out a bit better for me, because the expensive rate on the Intelligent Octopus is cheaper than the expensive rate on Octopus Go, even though the standing charge is a bit higher on Intelligent Octopus. But for me, because I'm always using about a kilowatt hour a day, the difference between that expensive rate between Octopus Go and Intelligent Octopus more than makes up for the difference in the standing charge per day. So actually I'll be a little bit better off just in that regard, but then I'll also get 2 extra hours of off-peak time, which in the winter is definitely going to be better. It'll stop me having to try and cram everything into 4 hours and sort of overload my incoming supply, and I can spread it out a bit more over over the 5 hours or 6 hours. If we look at July's pie chart, you can see it's broadly the same, not a lot of difference. Our best day in August was on the 23rd, and on that day we generated 43.6 kilowatt hours, and you can see that it was pretty much a blue sky day, a little bit of cloud first thing between sort of what's that, 10:30 to about 11:30, something like that, and then other than that it was pretty much uninterrupted. Our worst day was on the 8th of August, and on that day we generated just 10 kilowatt hours. And yeah, it's not a dreadful day, but a peak of about 3 kilowatts at about 11 o'clock in the morning, but other than that, sort of hovering typically above 1 kilowatt all day. Now let's have a look at our import for the month, broken down into half-hourly blocks, and you can see that we have again only really used electricity during the 4 hours of off-peak that's available on Octopus Go. There's a few days there where we didn't have to take anything from the grid, and I think that the longest consecutive streak we had in August was 4 days. So for August, total off-grid days was 15. Consecutive off-grid days, as I said, was 4, which means in the year to date we've been off-grid for 106 days in total, and the highest consecutive number of off-grid days was 25, which was back in June, I think. So that's it for the month of August. It was similar to July, not particularly great for this time of year. Hopefully September will be a lot better. It certainly seems to be starting out that way, which is good. But yes, next month will be different, like I say, because I'm on Intelligent Octopus now. So we'll see what kind of benefits that throws my way. I am in the process of also rewriting my entire software system, Monocle, in C++, which is the language that I use in my day-to-day job. My initial stuff was written in Python to sort of map it all out, but now I'm going to try and polish it up a bit, and hopefully, if I can get it to a sort of a state where I think it's stable enough, I'd like to try and maybe release it in some way to see if I can do something with it for other people. It currently supports Octopus Go, obviously. It supports Agile. It can retrieve live price data from Octopus for that and make decisions based on prices, including charging and discharging. It can also now work with Intelligent Octopus, and it can work with the different time periods that they will post out as part of their charge map that they create when you plug in, and it can set the chargers up and everything ready for that, but also disable it all again during the daytime when I want to be able to dump my spare solar into the car and stuff like that. So I think it's got a lot of potential. It's certainly really useful for me, but I think other people might be able to potentially use it as well. So yeah, I'm in the process of trying to polish it up really, and I need to do some better graphics and user interface, which I'm not terribly great at. I'm more of a back-end coder myself, but I've got some rudimentary stuff that works for me and I'm happy enough to use, but it's not particularly polished for other people to use, so it's something that needs a lot of work as well, so that's probably going to take the most time up, but yeah, I'll keep you up to date with how I'm getting on with that as well. But thanks for watching. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what was your best day, your worst day, how much you got, where you are, that sort of thing. It's quite interesting seeing what other people got. And I will see you all on the next video. Cheers.